Hello, and welcome to the very first Tortuga Gamecast. This is a weekly podcast where we will discuss and give impressions on the latest gaming news. I am your host, Derek, and today I'm joined by my good friend, James.
Hey, this is James, your resident retro gamer.
And my lovely wife, Cam.
Hi.
Wait, how come she gets to be lovely? Is that better than good?
Lovely
Is that better than good?
Yeah.
And good wife.
My good wife, Cam. You want that? Do you want to be my lovely friend?
I do.
We have
How do I get an upgrade?
Three major topics to discuss this week. First, we have the surprise announcement of the SNES Classic from Nintendo. Second, we're going to talk about the possibility of some more Wii U ports to the Switch. And finally, we're going to give part one of our E3 impressions, which will continue next week as well. So let's jump right into this SNES Classic, a big announcement from Nintendo, right? I mean, the SNES.
Big, stressful announcement.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting, right? The SNES, my favorite console of all time. I think a lot of people believe this is the best console of all time.
The golden age of console video gaming.
Right? Before we went 3D, it's like developers had really figured it out how to make these 2D games. And
16-bit pixel, I love it.
They still look great today.
Yes.
It's aged incredibly well. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to get my hands on one of these.
Wait, are you going to be able to get your hands on these?
That's the unfortunate, very heavy question.
Because, unfortunately, the NES, huge demand and supply and demand issues.
Yeah.
Just
last year, we had the NES Classic, which I was excited about. When they announced it, I thought, this is cool. It fits in the palm of my hand. I can go back and play some of these great Nintendo retro games. I'm going to get one.
That are already on it.
It was cheap.
Yes.
Right? And then
absolutely no warning.
Pre-orders didn't really happen. They were not possible for most places.
And no warning to the discontinue of it.
Yeah. And I never once saw one. Never had the opportunity to buy one online or in a store. And then Nintendo, like you said, comes along and says, hey, we're done with the NES Classic. And at the time I thought, maybe they're not making that much money on it. Maybe they just were not ready at all. I didn't know what to think.
I thought they didn't want to compete against their virtual console for Nintendo Switch that maybe was right around the corner.
But still has not happened.
No virtual console.
Don't bring up those pains. Okay, so now I'm incredibly excited for the SNES Classic. I like the NES. I was excited about that, but this is another league for me. This is what I truly have nostalgia for. A little too young for the NES, and the SNES games have just aged so well.
Yes.
Right now Nintendo's saying, hey, we're fixing the problems. We no longer have a 3-foot controller cable. You can sit on your couch because it's 5 feet long. Right? Maybe not as long as we want, but that's an improvement.
No, definitely.
It comes with 2 controllers. Awesome. A lot of these are great multiplayer games.
Yes.
I'm excited about that as well. But it's always that weight of, can I get one? Right? And in Europe, we've seen pre-orders go live, and I hear they're selling out within minutes. That's a little nerve-wracking. And America, we still haven't heard if there's going to be pre-orders. I'm waiting. I've got the Best Buy page ready, and I check it several times a day.
There probably will be pre-orders. There's a possible explanation for that is supposedly the FCC hasn't been able to review the SNES Classic yet, and so they're not letting stores sell it until they've had a chance to inspect and sign off on it. But I haven't heard anything, obviously, from the FCC about that. That's just some online speculation I've seen on Reddit and other discussion
forums. Could be right, could be off. Who knows? I mean, it's one of those things where I would feel better with pre-orders. If I miss a pre-order, sometimes it's a 1-minute window and you don't get it, but at least I feel like it's being thought about. And it shows that they understand the demand, I think. Where if they just put it out, it's so much crazier. I don't want to go wait overnight. Let me give my chance to pre-order. If I miss it, I'll be pretty bummed out, right? Now, the good news is that Nintendo has said their exact thing is that there's going to be significantly more production for the SNES than there was the NES.
I felt like there was significantly none of the NES.
Significantly more of 0.
Is 5. So how much does that really mean? Is that really gonna? I still haven't seen one. There are, and they discontinued it, so that's why we still haven't seen one. Obviously, and I won't.
Yeah, the SNES Classic. I hope it's a lot more, but what is significantly more? It could be 10% more, which I don't think we would even notice. Because I think, like we said, if I'm more excited about the Super Nintendo, I think everyone here is.
So you have an extra 15 seconds online.
I think everyone's going to be more excited about this.
They woefully underestimated the NES Classic market. And the Super Nintendo market, just right off the bat, it's going to be much more massive.
It's even bigger.
Yes, it's going to be twice, 4 times as big.
So
even though they might make twice as many SNES classics, but the market's twice as big. So just as many people are left in the dark.
Right. As we've said, I mean, a great console, a lot of these are historically important franchises, and for a lot of these franchises, people would say, this is the best entry in it. All right, there's an argument there for a lot of these. If you look at the original Donkey Kong Country, Earthbound, Kirby Superstar, right, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, we're talking about Final Fantasy III, which a lot of people see it as the best one. Super Metroid, Super Mario World, still my favorite Mario to this day. Super Punch-Out. I mean, this is an elite list of games that are remembered so fondly, have aged so well.
When you add that to the hype of NES and, the stress that obviously put on people who couldn't get it, you compound that with a Star Fox 4 scene, it really, really has me worried about just how available this console is going to be.
Star Fox 2, the importance of that cannot be understated here. I mean, that's going to drive demand for hardcore Nintendo fans to the roof. Never been legally accessible. The ROMs that people have downloaded have been confirmed to be incomplete. Right? No one's played this like this before, and it blows my mind that they chose for the first time they ever release it to be here on this Super Nintendo Classic. I think it makes it incredibly exciting. It makes me want one that much more, but it also makes me...
It sets you up for disappointment, though, if you can't get it. Because now there's
frustrating.
This great title, because you got to figure it's going to be just as good as the original Star Fox. Hopefully better, but hopefully just as good. And if you can't get this, how else are you going to get it?
This is your chance, and if you don't get it...
And almost regardless of its quality, I mean, it's historically incredibly interesting to finally get our hands on this game. It'll be weird to get first impressions without nostalgia, because I never played this game before. But I have to think, there's part of me that thinks they can't really lock this down on the SNES Classic. I mean, I really would hope eventually that and all of these other games make their way to the Switch on a virtual console. Please, let me play these games.
I got to figure Star Fox 2 will see its release on the virtual console, whenever that is. It might be a couple of years, the virtual console might be, like a year away. Maybe Star Fox 2 is like a few years away on the virtual console. Yeah. But I got to figure at some point it will be on the virtual console.
Yeah, it can't be locked behind this. What's going to be incredibly hard to get box. Please, Nintendo, don't make that the situation. But for a little while, I think it will be, and I think the demand will be that much higher because of it. It's a smart move on their part. Now, a little negative again, if you're thinking, well, if I don't get it right away, I'll get one eventually. They're going to do better production. Nintendo has already said September 29th is the release date, correct?
Yes,
They said we're going to produce this from September till the end of the year. This is a holiday item, just like the NES was, the NES Classic. So,
with already a deadline, already an expiration date on it. And it doesn't mean that they're going to continue to produce as it's not like you can order it and then we'll match the numbers that you order. No, they already have a number in mind.
They've shown that this is how it's going to go.
They already have a number in mind of just how many they're going to do. So it's not, I don't believe that it is truly a production through the end of the year. It's, when we sell these numbers, we're done.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, there'll be some shipments here and there, but it's going to be difficult to get, I have to say. We've seen this problem with Nintendo a little bit more as of late. I mean, Amiibo have shown their challenges. The NES Classic, as we've said, the Switch is still, I've never seen one in person in a store besides the one I got day one.
Yeah, besides day one, standing in line.
I know there have been shipments, but they are not common, right?
Nope.
It's not meeting demand. They would have sold more if there were more right now.
Yes.
So that is a problem for Nintendo. I hope that there truly is significantly more of the SNES, and this is something I really want. I mean, I'm going to try my best. Hope I get one. Let's look at the games a little bit again.
Yeah, so which game are you most excited to see on this list?
Let's look for it. Well, Kim, what do you think? What are you looking forward to?
I know this isn't a big one for other people, but I'm really excited about the Kirby games. They hold a special place for me, and I think they're fun games. Two very different games, but I've always really liked the Kirby mechanics. So I'm excited about Kirby, and I am also excited about Super Mario Kart.
Super Mario Kart, yeah. It was a classic.
Definitely.
Again, you could argue it might be the best in the series. I tend to like, actually, my Mario Kart 8 a lot, but the Super Mario Kart, very popular. And the Kirby, you're talking about some great Kirby titles here. Of course, you got your almost putt-putt with Kirby as the ball. Interesting kind of thing here. Very different. And then Superstar, a lot of people, again, believe this is the best Kirby. This is a great platformer. Very fun. A lot of kind of references to other Nintendo games in it as well. How about you, James? What are you looking forward to here the most?
definitely has to be Final Fantasy 3, aka 6. You know, that's my all-time favorite Final Fantasy. Definitely holds a special place in my heart. The characters, the story, the villain, I love it. But then also Secret of Mana, definitely an underrated game. I know like the hardcore fans always bring it up.
They appreciate it.
But like the casual gamers, you bring up Secret of Mana, and they're like, "Do you mean Secret of Evermore?" And it's like, no. Secret of Mana, it's a different game.
Yeah.
It's like one of the original action RPGs in my opinion.
Yeah.
Definitely looking forward to both those.
Absolutely. I mean, 2 games, but you're talking about some serious hours you can put in on this machine.
Oh, yeah.
Very long JRPGs. Some of the, considered some of the best JRPGs
Definitely.
made here. This is a very strong showing for those. I think it's interesting, Secret of Mana, we have the recent release of Ever Oasis on 3DS, which I'm looking forward to checking out from the same director behind Secret of Mana, getting another chance at a new IP. So for me, I am most excited, I have to say, it might seem like an easy cop-out answer, but Super Mario World, I mean, it just doesn't really get better than that for me.
It's got to be the best Mario in my opinion, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly, I love me some of the Marios in a very special way. I mean, Mario Galaxy 2, incredible, but Super Mario World, I mean, it just feels so perfect. The art style stands up so well today. It still looks awesome. I just get lost in it. This is the game, more so than any other game in my life, that just absolute nostalgia.
Definitely.
Right. I mean, this is what I played growing up with my dad, with my brother. We would replay. I'd replay World 1, probably hundreds of times because it didn't matter. I just started every time I played. I liked the beginning. It never got old even then. So it's so much nostalgia for the game. Cannot wait to have it again. That's always going to be my most exciting game. If it's there, it's going to be Super Mario
I remember
World.
spending countless hours trying to get the number on my save file to 100.
Yeah.
But it wasn't possible because apparently it stops at 96, right? I think 96 is the
big
actual,
trick.
and it took me so long to figure that out.
To understand.
Yes. I just kept I went to all these levels that you felt like, maybe there's a secret level here. Let me try beating that a different way. No, you just couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat the cape, right?
No.
That's what I always think about is the cape and Yoshi in that game. Just incredible.
Blue Yoshi, I love it.
Awesome. Okay, well then, how about on the flip side? I think we're all very excited about the Super NES, right? The SNES Classic, it's a great collection, but maybe could still even have been stronger. Such a strong library from the Super Nintendo. What is missing?
So 21 games. How can you not fit Chrono Trigger in there, right? Probably my all-time favorite game. Maybe not my all-time. Final Fantasy 3, definitely up there.
Competitive.
It's a debate between those two. So I really wish Chrono Trigger had been there because then I would have just been immediately just satisfied. No doubt about it. And that's definitely one of the games I'm seeing the most about online. Like everybody's saying, "Where's Chrono Trigger? Where's Chrono Trigger?" So I'm not alone there.
You're
There's
not
a
alone
lot of people sad about that.
Hey, I mean, come on. I remember a couple of years ago, Reggie from Nintendo of America asked his favorite game. He said Chrono Trigger. Reggie, come on, throw your weight around. Where is Chrono Trigger? Right?
The director for Chrono Trigger did recently tweet that he's going to work on a new game.
Wow.
So there's speculation it might be in the Chrono series. Maybe Chrono Trigger 2.
Could be hopeful.
But maybe like Chrono Cross 2, just maybe a completely unrelated game.
Yeah, I mean,
speculation's going rampant.
Great pick. I mean, Chrono Trigger, undeniably considered one of the best JRPGs of all time.
Definitely.
Or maybe by a lot of people the best. So, unfortunate miss there. Like we said, there's some great JRPGs on this console, but it would have been cool to see Chrono Trigger. For me, I'm going back to the platformers and what I have a lot of nostalgia in. So glad, and it seems like we should definitely have Donkey Kong Country here, but I would also like to have another from the series, Donkey Kong Country 2, Donkey Kong Country 3, awesome games as well. Very cool on the SNES, some great classic platformers. Really, I'd like to see Donkey Kong Country 2. I like playing as Diddy Kong, going on his story, his adventure. Feels like they could have had more than one of those. I understand you don't want to have repeat on this. Get some variety. You don't want to lose something special to have a second Donkey Kong. But then, no offense to the big fans out there, but if Kirby has two, I kind of feel like my man Donkey Kong is getting cheated.
He is, isn't he, though?
Yeah. But either way, awesome list, which I'm incredibly excited for. Really hope to get my hands on this. It's hard to beat a list like that from the Super Nintendo.
Now, yeah, this is definitely something I'm going to keep my eye on. I got all these email alerts in case it does go on pre-sale, pre-order. And if not, this might be a taking September 29th off from work to stand in Toys R Us line for 6-8 hours to hopefully get one.
Well, best of luck to you and everyone else who's going to be trying very hard to take one of these. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to our second topic for today, which is the idea of Nintendo bringing more Wii U ports to the Switch. Some interviews with Reggie from Nintendo of America. At E3, he said that Nintendo will be bringing more Wii U ports to the Switch in order to fill out the catalog. I think it's a good idea. It'll help bridge the gap, where there could be some gaps in releases. Bring back some of these Wii U games that not many people got to play, right? The Wii U didn't hit as large of an audience as I think Nintendo hoped. That's pretty clear. Mm-hmm. So some of these games, there's an opportunity for more people to play them, certainly. So let's look at that. Let's talk about, for each of us, what are some Wii U games we would like to see on the Switch? Cam, what would you like to see brought from the Wii U to the Switch?
I think everybody kind of wants to see Smash. I think that's probably the most popular opinion.
That's the big one, right?
Yeah, the most likely one to come over, especially if the amiibo are compatible with Switch. You want to put to use all the, for us, every amiibo that was a Smash amiibo we purchased. So I definitely want to continue to put those to use in the new console. And I want to see a Smash with maybe new characters, new stages. I want there to be more to it, not just the exact. I want it to come out with some new DLC.
I think Nintendo has said that they're going to improve games when they bring them over, and we saw that with Mario Kart, right? The big ports we've seen so far are Mario Kart and Pokken Tournament, which is coming soon in September, I believe.
Yeah, and Mario Kart did a great job of introducing some good DLC that made it seem fresh when you're playing.
The battle mode, we got the Inklings, we got some new tracks, things like that. That's great. Well, not new racing tracks. Some people were disappointed in that, but
I'm sure it's to come.
And Pokken Tournament's getting, I think, 5 new fighters, which is cool, and a new 3-on-3 mode. It's cool as well. So they did say they would be adding some. I think Smash is a big one. That's what people want. The call is clear. Right, and see some new fighters.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to Smash because
you're not a big Smash guy.
You guys always beat me up in Smash, and I'm glad the Switch doesn't have a Smash right now. That way, you guys can't just gang up on me.
Do you think that they'll change the way that characters are played? How they change the moves and some characters. Do you think they'll go as far as changing that, or do you think that they'll introduce more?
I don't think we'll see any moves change for characters. I think you might see some more balance patches. They did that a lot, even with the Wii U, after Bayonetta came out famously, and people thought, oh, she's not so good. And then the pros realized she's incredibly good, and Nintendo said, we need to take that down a few notches, right? And they did. So I think we could see some more balance patches to even things out, but I don't think they would change, because people have a very strong attachment to their Smash characters, and you would upset people if you took away anything or they felt like you changed their character too much.
When you mess with mechanics or gameplay, it can always backfire. Even though you're trying to balance, it can always backfire just because people are set in their ways and they feel comfortable. So when you go changing things, you always run the risk of alienating the player base.
Yeah, they better not touch my shulk.
There you go. I
feel it too. But for me, I do see opportunity when you think. Remember that Smash Wii U launched actually a little bit after the 3DS version, and they had completely different maps on the 3DS. None of the same maps really, except for Final Destination, right? And I think there was a couple crossovers, but most of it are unique. So I could see them bringing all the 3DS maps over, updating them for HD, putting them on the Switch, and probably adding a couple characters. I mean, where are the Inklings, right? The Inklings are huge for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Maybe a character from ARMS. It's all self-promotion.
And even if they don't do anything with it, even if they import it over exactly as is, it's still interesting to be able to play on the go. I don't know how it's going to work with the tiny controllers. It'll be a lot more difficult. But it just being able to play it on the go with other people would be a huge.
I would think Nintendo's going to have to make that GameCube adapter work for the Switch. It's got the Ethernet ports. People are very attached to their GameCube controllers for Smash.
You couldn't do that on the go, which is
right. Well, not easily. Yeah, so certainly be playable.
It would be a lot more clunky. You'd definitely be taking a few steps back from the technology.
Well, Smash worked with a Wii remote turned sideways, so you can do it. I hate it, but it is possible. Yeah. So I think Smash is a clear big one. I think that is inevitable. Sorry, James. I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later.
Hey, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
Just know that I'll be over in the corner pouting while you guys
Just know
play.
that I hope that they have a backpack that I can put all the amiibo in.
You need them. Need my partner. Yeah.
Or a satchel or something that holds everything that I have that I need.
Some people were disappointed that Smash didn't show up at E3. Actually, they thought the port would be there. I get it though. You think about Nintendo's pushing a brand new fighter in ARMS right now, and they have Pokken Tournament coming out. If you put Smash out 2 months after those, both of those games are overshadowed completely by Smash. The following for Smash is just too diehard. They wouldn't care about any other fighter. So you got to give those games a chance to breathe. I think sometime maybe next summer, Smash hits right before E3. Then they get to roll it out again and have Smash tournaments at E3. It's a big ordeal. So that's what I think.
Yeah, that's an excellent point about ARMS, though.
Yeah. So I think we're all in agreement. Smash is probably going to happen. What else do we think, James? What would you like to see?
So Nintendo Land.
Yeah.
You know, that was the first game I got for the Wii U. It's a great little party game. You get 4 friends together. I think 4 was the max, right? We haven't played it recently.
Some of the games 5 even.
Yeah, so yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah, because you got the one person on the gamepad. So it probably wouldn't be a game that would work, obviously, on the go. It would have to be, you know, one you play on the TV. But, you know, the Switch is just like the Wii U with terms to the gamepad. So, but definitely one. And the other one I would love to see is Super Mario Maker.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I still watch, you know, YouTube videos. I'm horrible at it myself. You know, I can't do those Kaizo levels, you know, wow.
Yeah.
But I love watching other players try to do those Kaizo levels. And there's also, you know, those puzzle levels that I see some players make and some do. I love watching those. I do love trying the puzzle levels myself. Those I can do. But the Kaizo levels, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great one. I think that's another one like Smash that feels likely at some point. Maybe a new version.
It was just so fresh. It was still so new in people's minds. It was still so heavily played that it seems like it would be silly not to try, because it was just it ended up being so much bigger, I think, than they anticipated. But it really took a life of its own.
It's a great one for attention to people playing it on YouTube and streaming it. Very popular in that way. So it's a good outreach for Nintendo. I think that one's one where I'm not so sure about a port, but maybe, you know, it would definitely be updated. I think they could add a lot to it still, and that would be cool.
Definitely.
Yeah. But I think at some point.
In the same token with Nintendo Land is like maybe like a Wii Party or something. I mean, I know that those games aren't as popular. I think most people usually have a negative opinion on those just because of how simplistic they are. But I like them. I like having friends over, family, plug it in, 4 or 5 people can play, and it's just an easy, fun, whimsical game where there's not a lot of commitment to it. I think right now, they did come out with the 1-2 switch, but it didn't really hit the mark the way that I wanted it to. The way that I used to go back to like Wii Party and Nintendo Land and continuously play those. I would like to see something like that, just a whimsical, fun Nintendo game, not necessarily Mario, not necessarily Smash or anything like that, but just a simple, with a me character.
Party game.
Yeah, just a party game that you can open up, non-committal, fairly easy. The games are pretty short and you can continue to move along. Right now I like, I'm bridging the gap with the Jackbox Party Pack. Yeah, Jackbox Party Pack, which is cool because it's on your phone, so you get to do that, and there's a lot of players. And it's fun, but, you know, I would like to see Nintendo
some more like that. Yeah, that laid back kind of thing. The Wii U did shine in that. I mean, we took... Us as a group, I know we came back to Nintendo Land again and again throughout the Wii U's life cycle. We played Mario Party. We played Wii Party was the big one for us. I would like to see the Switch absolutely needs
something
one of those.
For not hardcore gamers.
Yeah.
Where you can take to, and some people who are drinking can still play it. It's not like a huge, you know, a huge skill-based
Definitely
game.
a social/casual game.
I think a lot of fans blow those games off, but it's a big part of Nintendo's market.
And
it's important.
Feel like
1-2 Switch is fun to watch and silly and goofy, but at the most it's only 2 people playing at the same time, so it can become boring for other people in a big setting. In the way that Nintendo Land, Wii Party, and even Jackbox Party Pack seem to incorporate a larger crowd.
I don't really want a port of Wii Party or Mario Party, but I don't know if that's even really what you were getting at. I think I want a new one because there's so much the Joy-Con could do, and I tend to want Mario Party. Get rid of the car, please, and just let everyone roll for themselves. But Mario Party, just the creativity.
Yeah, not necessarily the same game over, but some games similar to with the same, you know, thought in mind as the games that can include up to 5, sometimes 4 or 5 players.
Yeah.
Which is nice when you're in a bigger group.
Great. Yeah, for me, there's a lot of great Wii U games that I would like to revisit. The two, if I had to pick two, because we've kind of all said that, Bayonetta 1 and 2 were something that when they got announced for a Wii U exclusive, a lot of people complained. A lot of people were upset. I know more people want to play it. And it seems like the Switch has a more positive reception in the gaming community. So I think if they brought Bayonetta over, people would want to play it. And it was a great action game. Very highly reviewed, well received. But if it's on the Wii U, not as many people played it as possible. So I think Platinum had a bunch of good games there's several good games for Wii U, whether it's The Wonderful 101 or Bayonetta. I'd like to see either of those come back. The biggest one for me, I'm going to return to my platforming roots again. Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze on Wii U. I loved it. I think it's an incredibly solid platformer, one of the better 2D platforms I've played in a while. So I'd like to see that get another chance just for a bigger market. Or even maybe something with Mario 2D. I know we're getting Odyssey, which I could not be more excited. But everyone got kind of annoyed with the 2D Mario, saying they're putting too many out. I miss it now. It's been a while. I think Nintendo's going through the same thing now with Fire Emblem, where everyone's like, we're getting too much Fire Emblem. Not me personally, but people are getting fatigued. Other people are getting fatigued. And I think people got fatigued with 2D Mario. I don't think 2D Mario is going to happen this year. This is Mario Odyssey's time, but next year, I wouldn't be surprised at all for something like that to come back. But I would love Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze. Let Retro make something else, but bring back that one because I think it's great.
There's one game I thought you were going to say, and you didn't say, was Monster Hunter. Because I
Monster
remember
Hunter.
when that first came out, you played that religiously, and I decided not to get it because
Despite my best efforts.
I know you were always telling me to get it. I would love it. I remember playing at your apartment a few times. I did love it, but at the same time, yeah, I was definitely being a lot more cautious in which games I was buying because I was on a budget.
Yeah.
Just bought the house. But yeah, you love that game so much.
I do love
actually,
Monster Hunter.
Are there any word?
There is, in Japan, we already have Monster Hunter Double Cross.
Okay, there is.
Which is coming to Switch. It's a newer 3DS one that's being ported to Switch. No confirmation on America. I would love it. Monster Hunter on the go. There is Monster Hunter World coming to PS4, Xbox One, and that's confirmed for the West. I'll probably play it, but Monster Hunter is such a big time sink. I like to be able to play it on the go, so I'd rather have Double Cross on Switch. To be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
We did all think that that very first few seconds of Mario Odyssey was. I know a bunch of us that are familiar with Monster Hunter thought it was Monster Hunter until
The
you saw
T-Rex.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Until you saw
That trailer was a
until you
trip.
saw it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely
They
true.
were definitely tugging on your heartstrings there for people that were familiar with Monster Hunter.
All right, so I think clearly for us as a group, there's some love still for the Wii U games. We'd like to see some of them brought over. I don't want Nintendo to overdo it, but I think you spread them out, maybe 2 Wii U ports a year for the next 2 years or so. It could be cool. It would just strengthen the
Treat
Switch's
it like
lineup.
they do the Virtual Console.
Yeah.
Just a few here, a few there.
Yeah, fill in gaps, and that'd be great. All right, moving on to our next topic. We're going to look at the E3 press conferences and give some impressions of what we saw there. A very big time of year for video games. To keep things reasonable, time length, we're going to break it up into 2 weeks. This week, we're going to look at 3 of what we see as 6 major E3 conferences. This week, we're going to talk about Ubisoft, EA, and Microsoft. Next week, we will talk about Bethesda, Sony, and Nintendo. All right, so look forward to that. Let's start off with Ubisoft. I think overall, the impressions I've heard from people in general is that Ubisoft had a very strong year this year at E3. A lot of people think that they might have had one of the strongest years. What do you guys think about Ubisoft's lineup this year?
Well, there's definitely a few games that stood out to me, but I wasn't wowed or amazed by any means at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely some games I want to check out, but nothing particular that I'm just dying to have, precisely.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I kind of feel like, and I'll try to explain it as we go, but I feel like Ubisoft had a year of incredible strength and some pretty lows, high highs and low lows, I'd say, as well, for me, overall.
I agree,
When you think back on it, it seems like, wow, there's a lot of good, but there were some lows to the conference as well. I feel like it's easy to overlook because there is excitement, which is fine and great, but I do want to kind
When
of
you really list it all out.
look at both sides.
Yeah.
But let's start just how Ubisoft started. They started this year with the big secret surprise Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Very heavily leaked the pictures, everything key art leaked before E3. What did you guys think of? What was your first impression of seeing this?
So fortunately, you had heard about this beforehand, and had actually told me when we were playing Mario Kart one day about hearing about this game, and I was just completely like, really? What's this gonna look like? And then we finally got to see it here at E3, and it definitely looks interesting. I definitely get a RTS vibe to it actually.
Yeah,
Because of the turn-based elements, and so that is one of the games that stood out to me, and I'm definitely intrigued by it. But at the same time, it didn't have that wow factor, so I'm not sure if I'll be getting it, day of August 29th, or if I'm going to wait for reviews.
Impressions, yeah.
Wait, see what you feel about it.
In
fact, because I'm sure you're going to get it.
That's true.
And, but definitely intriguing. I definitely like the elements.
There's definitely a lot of skepticism
Yes.
that comes from. I know that I laughed a lot during the trailer. In the first couple of seconds, the first thing you think is, man, Peach, you really let yourself go.
No.
So it looked fun. It looked funny. It looked fun. It was interesting to see their take on. I mean, just to see the different characters that they had morphed into rabbits was interesting. It looks fun. It looks goofy. It looks fun. It looks whimsical. It looks like everything that you can do with a Mario Nintendo game without being too Mario Nintendo.
I have to say, I think kudos to Ubisoft on this one. I was doubtful. When I heard about it at first, I was like, man, I'm usually on board with Mario. But this one, I don't know. The rabbits are kind of like minions to me, and it just kind of comes across as annoying. Like, they're very similar.
You can definitely tell that Nintendo was like, yeah, you can use our characters, but don't do anything that we've ever done or would ever do.
Yeah. Even on stage, they brought, they rolled out Miyamoto, which I think it's smart. If you can start your press conference with Miyamoto on stage, probably not a bad idea. And he even on stage said the one thing I told them was, this can't be a running and jumping game. So kudos to them on doing something different. This is different for Mario. And we've seen RPGs with Mario before, but nothing like this, not the RTS style. And I think it looks pretty cool. I have to say, my big impression is, after the fact, I think it's a great thing for this game that it leaked beforehand. Because when I first saw the leak, I said, Mario and Rabbids, that's terrible. Why would Mario's going so below to match up with the Rabbids. Like, why not Mario and Rayman? That I can get on board with, right? But Mario and Rabbids, this seems weird. So I think if it wouldn't have leaked and people just saw it, that's all they would be able to focus on, is why is Mario with the Rabbids?
Now that they saw, okay, there is going to be a Rabbids game, they got to focus really on what it was going to be about.
Yeah, it's sunk in, accept it, now let's see what this game is.
The wow, the shock, that's all over. Now you really get to look at what it's going to be.
Yeah, so it turned into let's see what this game is, and it actually came across as pretty charming, I think, in the end, in the gameplay. It looks fun, it's colorful, it's a really good-looking game, running in action, and I think it could be fun. It actually did kind of change my mind on it a little bit. I'm looking forward to it a lot more than I thought I would be. So,
if anything, you're going to laugh when you're playing it because it looks pretty fun.
Yeah, overall good showing. Miyamoto was a little awkward on stage, I think, as any time with a translator, but that moment was saved. I mean, how good of a thing for a game was this game was it also with the producer on the game, having that moment where he teared up because he was so happy and just overwhelmed with the idea of Miyamoto talking about his game on stage, and it was a really cool moment. I think, a human moment that was just nice to see, and it worked out really well for Ubisoft.
It makes you want to root for the game to work.
It did. Kind of see the people behind it and how much they care. It was cool. I thought it was really cool. Okay, so Mario and Rabbids, I think safe to say maybe better than we thought. Better impression.
Definitely
than
intrigued.
Beforehand. Yeah.
I know that's a cop out.
I'm gonna play it no matter what.
Yeah.
I know.
The next big thing from Ubisoft is they went straight into Assassin's Creed Origins. Right, and they showed off some gameplay. That had actually shown at Microsoft already before Ubisoft's press conference, but clearly Assassin's Creed is going to be shown again. That's really Ubisoft's hallmark series, I would say. That's what they're known for. So Assassin's Creed Origins, what do we think? It took a year off. For a long time, Assassin's Creed was coming out every year. I think a lot of people got a little burnt out. They said, we're going to take some time off. 1 year is not all that long. But what do you think from what you saw so far on this?
Well, just to go a little off topic with Assassin's Creed, have you seen all the internet memes about all the bundles you can get with the Origins that they're already hyping? Like 10 different ways to buy this game, and I was cracking up.
Some of them, I don't know, but very expensive, I know too.
Yeah, I think one of them was like $200 because you get like you know, the full...
Well, you didn't spend money on the game last year, so right. You have double the funds.
Maybe you went out and saw the movie, but not the game.
So you have double the funds to spend on Assassin's Creed.
So I definitely got the Assassin's Creed vibe from the game. So I'm looking forward to it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's kind of bad when your largest takeaway is, you know, their pricing and their bundles after the fact.
Sure.
I mean, it looks good. The trailer looks
pretty
good.
game. I mean, this is one of the games, really, this is one of a few games being pushed as this is Xbox One X, this is what it can do, right? This is, Microsoft is behind this.
4K.
This is a 4K, powerful, beautiful game, and I think it is.
Very action-packed, very one after the I mean, they're...
What you've come to expect from Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
I will say, this setting is one of the best for Assassin's Creed, in my opinion. You know,
Ancient Egypt.
History buff, Ancient Egypt, the birth of civilization, going back to the beginning with the assassins, very cool. And I mean, you don't get to play ancient Egyptian video games, right? So that is cool. I have very high hopes in that aspect. It did feel like Assassin's Creed, but you know what? Like Assassin's Creed, I think it's going to be fun. I don't know if it's going to change the world, right? When it comes out, we'll see. But early on, I think it looks cool. The setting is awesome. It's promising. Right, and it is a big showcase for Xbox. It looks great. I mean, it's a
gameplay trailer that we were watching definitely had some elements that really look exciting. And yeah, I think this. I haven't played all the Assassin's Creeds. I've only played a couple before this, in fact. But this is one that I'll probably get for my Xbox One.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and it seems like they're pushing some new things, like there are boss battles, which haven't really been a big thing for Assassin's Creed, and also some hints of
hopefully
maybe...
go a little smoother than the gameplay.
Yeah, what they showed at E3 was a little rough of that boss battle. I mean, the idea was there, but the person playing, I think, was struggling a bit.
Yeah, but then again, I can barely type when somebody's watching me, so I can't really...
It's understandable. And also some RPG elements, with the items and the stats. I'm hoping they go deeper with that, because I think that'd be great for the series. So we'll see on that. But I'm excited for them.
Seems like the year off did him some good.
Yeah, hopefully so. Next, Ubisoft kind of dug into some VR, which I just want to say it now, because we're going to kind of avoid VR for the most part. I mean, what's your take on the VR scene right now?
I'm glad that they're still supporting all the people that spent all the money to buy the equipment, and I'm glad they're supporting it. I don't see any games yet. I still see experiences, which seem a little weak for the price point. It seems like at this point, if you're going to support it, put something substantial on it for those who did invest. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
I don't even think during the E3 conference, when they did their initial impressions afterwards, I didn't hear it brought up.
It's not the conversation for the most part.
It wasn't. I don't know. I don't think we're ready for VR yet. I think we're still trying to figure out. We're still trying to figure out the 4K thing. I think VR was maybe too far of a step in the future to fully be able to support at this time.
I think it's hard, the limitations of VR. I mean, graphically, clearly it's a step down. And when you're watching something like Assassin's Creed and they're talking about how much they can push with 4K, and then they show you VR where it
doesn't look...
Yeah, you're controlling a body with floating hands and things. It's hard to transition. And I get that when you're playing VR, it's a very deep experience. And it's all about that, and that's cool. I just haven't been sold yet.
And then when you think about
if you're into VR and that's something you're really excited about, I mean, feel free to let us know. Feel free to let us know what excited you from E3. It's just not where any of us are at quite yet, I don't think. We haven't bought in yet. So let's move on from that one, I think. Then.
Okay.
The other thing, before we kind of flip the coin over and look at maybe the negative, for me, from Ubisoft's conference, let's look at the one other, I think, true highlight for them, which, if anything, for Ubisoft, this had to have been their, what I want to call, mic drop moment, right? Their big thing at the end of the show, they were very proud to show it, was Beyond Good and Evil 2, right? This is something that there's been rumors for years that it was coming out, and you'll keep hearing. Ubisoft has just said really nothing on it. Its director, Michel Ancel, has kind of recently posted pictures Beyond Good and Evil, and then he won't really say much about it, so it seems like it was in development. But this was your big reveal, cinematic trailer. What did you guys think of that?
No, I love the trailer. Only downside, there was no gameplay. It was just pure cinematic, pure cutscenes, I guess. But
which leads you into,
precisely
gives you a good idea.
It gives you the idea of the story, where everything's taking place.
Tone piece, kind of a tone
piece.
Yeah.
And
but also lets you know that they're probably still in the early stages of development.
Yes.
Yeah. From what I've heard from E3, they did, some press got to see it behind closed doors. It's an early build, right? It's an early build, but ambitious, and there's some excitement around that still, so that's great. I thought the CG trailer was really cool. When it first came on, I was like, talking animals, I think this could this be Beyond Good and Evil?
I actually
could be
got
Beyond Good and Evil.
like an Overwatch vibe from the talking animals, you know. Like,
Yeah.
And I thought it could be, and the whole time I was like, is it? Because it was different. The tone is so different. I mean, the language in the trailer, I was like, this isn't Beyond Good and Evil, but the feeling was always there. And then when it finally said it at the end, I did feel excited. Like, I was like, oh, finally, I love Beyond Good and Evil. I liked what they showed. You mentioned Fifth Element when you were watching it. I thought the same thing when I was watching it. Just cool space, odyssey, pirates, Guardians of the Galaxy kind of thing.
At the very end, when the ship is taking off and like the clouds are coming through, it looked good. And the ship is gone.
Yeah.
It's very very fast. Outer space travel, which it's just pretty. It does a really good job of being a beautiful game.
I will say, and we didn't actually mention it, but Far Cry 5 shown off at Ubisoft's conference as well. Split opinions on that one for people. I think it looks cool. I think Assassin's Creed looks cool. But their sequels, I mean, we're talking about Far Cry 5. This is Assassin's Creed. I mean, if you really counted the numbers, it's getting up there.
Yes.
It is Beyond Good and Evil 2, but this was an important moment for Ubisoft for me because it was finally something that looked new. Right, this was the promise of it. It felt so different and unique, even though it is a sequel. I understand, but I mean, we're talking about 15 years away from the original.
Yeah, so this will be a completely new title for me because I didn't play the original. So, and that trailer did get me hooked.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah.
So exciting there from Ubisoft. Also from Ubisoft, I briefly mentioned Far Cry 5. I didn't want to skip that. The setting in America has some people kind of feeling.
Yeah, given the current political climate, it hits a little too close to home.
Yeah.
I know specifically for me, I play video games to kind of get away.
Escapism.
Yeah. I don't. A lot of the things that concern me about the current political climate aren't really something that I want to revisit in a seemingly apocalyptic area where it's like worst case scenario. That's a little too much.
Feels
for
a
me.
little too real.
Yeah, it's a little too real.
Okay.
For me, I mean, I know it's not an apocalyptic game, but it did have that feeling to it.
I think it looks cool. The whole time I'm watching the trailer, it has that eerie level of feeling. I think I mentioned this to you guys where I'm like, almost like I feel like, hey, there's about to be a zombie to pop out. Even though I know zombies are not Far Cry, it's just that eerie.
It does. It gives you that like desolate, no hope left type vibe. But again, I mean, it looks good. But again, this is coming from someone who wants to escape, who is really excited about stuff like rabbits because there is no chance of that actually happening.
Right,
so
sure.
That's.
Now, with that said, I mean, I am excited about Far Cry 5. I love the Far Cry games, and I know what the heart of Far Cry 5 and what the heart of Far Cry is craziness, over the top, flying planes around, blowing things up. It's going to be a playground. I think they're just setting the tone, and they want to set a serious tone to, it's going to garner attention.
Yes.
And the story pieces and the cutscenes, I think, will be serious, but
and
the gameplay of Far Cry is so extreme that I think it's going to be fun.
It could be that when you're playing the game, it's not as heavy on that as it would be in the cinematic, you know.
But I have to say, the trailer, I did kind of get excited from the trailer. I think it's cool. I mean, it's cool. I do kind of want to go fight those guys. I don't know. They just feel threatening. Then let's look at, for just a minute, some of maybe the negative side of Ubisoft. And it's not that everything is a complete miss, but some things, there were so many highs, like I said, but maybe some lows to the conference as well, for me. And maybe, if you feel differently, great. To start that out, they did the normal Ubisoft tradition now of trotting out a singer and dancers dressed in ridiculous clothes and showed off Just Dance very briefly. And I'll give Ubisoft credit, they've made that shorter and shorter every year. This year it was a song and then like a logo behind them. Hey, Just Dance is coming out again, just in case you didn't know. And I mean, it's coming out to Switch and Xbox and PlayStation and Wii U and Wii. I mean, there's a market for it clearly, even all the way back to the Wii people who just don't upgrade, and every year they play Just Dance.
Well, to be fair, there's a lot of people that didn't realize there was a difference between.
Maybe they still don't. Yeah. But, there's a market for it. I just kind of feel like it's gotten to the point where Ubisoft could just have a press release for Just Dance some other time. Showing it at E3, I just don't think the crowd that cares is there.
I feel like it really brings down their overall score.
The E3 crowd is not there for Just Dance.
Yeah,
I think that goes without saying, right?
Yeah.
And Ubisoft just hasn't picked up on that.
They've made it shorter. They can tell, but I just feel like announce it another time.
I feel like it takes away more than it adds for them.
I agree. And then we saw DLC for Steep, the extreme sports skiing, snowboarding game. They're doing some Olympics themed DLC. That's cool. Steep has never really excited me, so having it there again is kind of the same feeling. I think it's a little more reasonable to have it at E3, but I'm not even getting that excited. That's another game that they have confirmed coming to the Switch, so there's some life still for Steep, but not too excited on that one.
It does seem, I remember when this game was released, it seems a little late for DLC.
Yeah. And then finally, we saw Starlink Battle for Atlas. All right, what did you think, James? I got to witness you see this trailer for the first time, so I want to get your hot take.
So, gameplay actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I heard you asking Cam, because it was hers and I think both our first time watching it, what game does it remind you of? And I was immediately going, No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cam went No Man's Sky, and I was like, yep, that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
And that's definitely the vibe I got. But then, the whole toy figure being hooked onto the remote, though, that has me worried.
Yeah.
Because that is such a, Disney Infinity / Amiibo / cash, I feel like.
Yeah.
It has me worried.
I couldn't quite figure out. They never actually showed. They showed the hands changing the parts of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
They never showed them playing the game. So I wonder if it's a single player game. If your ship is one controller and the other controller is you control. I mean, because I can't imagine that there's room for your hands.
From what they have said, it's the whole idea. I mean, I get the concept for kids. When I think back to my childhood, the idea of that, hey, I want to change my ship in this game, so I'm just going to change my ship. I'm not going to a pause menu. I'm just going to take this piece off and put a new gun on. It's cool, but it's on the controller you're playing with, from what they've said. That is attached to.
It looks like it's elevated up,
yeah.
so you can still
room
hit
for your hands.
I guess I would have liked to see somebody holding it.
Yeah.
Figure it just seemed.
Need some
seemed
pictures.
bulky. Yeah, it seemed bulky.
It's interesting. I don't know. When I first saw it, I thought this looks kind of cool. There's a lot of combat. No Man's Sky graphically, right? The
Yeah,
cel-shaded,
just graphically,
but
I meant.
a lot more combat. It seems like they're talking about exploration, but then when they showed the ships, the toys, it was kind of like,
The gameplay got me interested, but then when I saw the toy element to it, I was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to want to be able to, first off, afford, let alone want to buy all these figures. But it's an interesting concept, because how customizable are they going to be? And if they're very customizable, it'll be a huge draw.
I mean,
It's got a lot of questions to it. How many different types of ships are they constantly going to be rolling out with them? Is it going to be Skylanders-esque, where there are just so many, or is it going to be a select few? Just how much extra hardware are we talking about?
Yeah, and for me, they showed one part where they're like, "Oh, our ice guns aren't working," and they changed it to fire. Is it going to be a game where, hey, if you didn't buy those fire cannons at the store, you can't beat this level?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of questions to be answered. This comes from
just
a person.
how far they want to take the figurine or the attachment part of it is.
Skylanders actually had that problem, right?
It did. It gated.
Where if you didn't have a certain element type, you got trapped.
If,
Not
if you
the
didn't
best way to
have
do
a,
it.
if you didn't have a giant, you couldn't get into this certain
The
area.
special gate to get
And
these items.
And for people who like to completely complete a game, it's really difficult because you have to go back out and get a giant and make sure you can get.
It's genius for the company, because little Timmy says, "Hey, Dad, I need this."
Yeah.
I mean, this comes from a guy who has a massive shelf of Amiibo behind you. Most Amiibo have come out, not all of them, but a lot of them.
I have another question. If I want to put these figurines on a shelf to display the way we do the Amiibo, the way we do all of our other, are they going to be attractive, or are they going to flop over on
What
the
are they
side?
like on their own? Yeah.
Exactly. I need to, if I'm going to display them, I want it to be created in a way thoughtful enough to where it doesn't just all have to go into a box.
Yeah.
Where I tuck it away and can't have it nicely sitting on a shelf.
A lot of questions there. For me, my main concern is it just feels late. Nintendo's still doing some Amiibo, but that's different. It's a nostalgia play in a lot of ways, and it's about the characters more than it is what they do in the games. Disney Infinity has ceased to exist. Skylanders is now not coming out this year, where it's been annual. There's clearly a struggle in that area. Those things are not what they used to be. It feels like Ubisoft executives wanted to get in on this big money basket, and they were late. And I don't know. I just don't know what that's going to be, because if you remember, this is fall 2018. So it's still quite a while out. It remains to be seen how that will do, what the market will be at that point.
Because it is not going to go back on it. Sorry, I know that we're trying to finish up on this one, but it doesn't have any of the draw like the Nintendo stuff does, where it's like
You're not already connected to it. You're not saying, I want it
Precisely.
because it's Kirby. It's
These aren't
spaceship.
these aren't collectibles that you're dying to have to add to your collection.
Because it's Yoshi, but it's a yarn Yoshi, so he's squishy, so I
Yeah.
gotta have it in every color. It's not, there is no draw, there is no connection.
Yeah.
It's something that if somebody saw it on a shelf, they wouldn't necessarily know if it was Nintendo or not, you know, so it kind of takes away from the desire to want to have it.
Agreed. Let's go on then to EA. A different conference here. You know, EA, I think, struggles sometimes at E3 with what they're going to show. And a big thing for EA is, of course, their sports games. They're big franchises, right? They're Madden, right? They're FIFA. That's big for EA. Now, not really our interest so much, I know, but I will say I want to give them some credit before we just skip over it completely that they are bringing that story mode that you've seen in NBA 2K to Madden now. There's a story mode where you can play as a campaign and this character rising up through, and they're saying from what I've heard that it's really based on like a Telltale style game of making decisions and seeing how your coaches react. It's not even really about playing football. At least they're expanding, I think, on it, but overall not terribly excited there.
That's actually the part I like the most about these sports games is the franchise element.
Yeah.
So being able to develop a player, I'm looking forward to that. I am looking forward to that.
It definitely gives you more of an investment in the game, you know, because this is something that you did, you know, you made these decisions, you made these choices, this is who you play as now. It's not as much you can pick up any controller and choose any player and then you're just playing the person.
Yeah.
So that is nice.
And then let's move on to, for them, I think maybe the biggest thing right then was Battlefront 2, right? The sequel to Battlefront 1 2 years ago. The Star Wars franchise came out. People were so excited about it coming back, and then the reception was kind of underwhelmed, right? Because it wasn't as deep. It was online only, just multiplayer. People had a lot of complaints about the way it worked and how hard it was to play as a hero. There were a lot of concerns. I played it for a little bit, and I love Star Wars. I was excited to play as Han Solo and anyone else, right? But it burned out pretty quick for me. So Battlefront 2, this year, just before E3, they'd shown off a trailer for their campaign, story mode, which they're adding. That's what a lot of people want. So they're kind of getting people back on their side. Hey, we're doing a story mode now. That's not just multiplayer. And now they showed off some of the multiplayer gameplay as well. What did you guys think from what we saw from Battlefront?
I just hope that it is not anything like Battlefield, where it did feel a little big. It did feel like there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of players going on. I know that in Battlefield, it felt like even if you were kicking butt, your entire team could be losing, and there was nothing you can do about it, no matter what.
Yeah.
So I hope that it's not like that. I hope that your actual my gameplay and actually makes a difference.
You want to make an impact.
Yeah, I want to feel like I can be kicking butt the whole game, and then our team still loses because that's just the way that it went. So I really do hope it's not like Battlefield in that way.
Yeah.
But it did feel a little big.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's it's built on the same principles, I think. And I know plenty of people love how big Battlefield is because you feel immersed in a war experience. But sometimes you do wish you could kind of turn the tide if you're playing, kind of thing where it doesn't feel like you could sometimes. So that's part of it. What do you think from Battlefield 2, James?
So I got goosebumps when they showed Darth Maul. Definitely hands down my favorite Star Wars character, and so it's always awesome seeing him. I assume we're gonna get to play as him.
Yes, he's one of the
awesome
characters.
So I didn't do anything so I wasn't sure if he was just like a side character, but that's awesome to hear that we'll be able to play as him. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But yeah, just overall, I'm definitely looking forward to this.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I got to be honest, man, oh man, when I think about the Star Wars prequels, it's kind of a sour taste almost, right? It seems like the weak point of the Star Wars franchise at this point. But when they took us to Naboo and they were fighting droids against the clones, I got excited about playing as a droid, right? I want to play as a droid Dakar. I want to play all these things. And they made it look awesome, right? And I was excited. Now, one of the things I'm most excited about is playing as the droids. So I got to give them credit on that. The atmosphere is just so well done. It feels so authentically Star Wars, right? And even Battlefront 1 did a good job of that. And now with some of the ideas of fixing how you obtain playing as a hero, it's earned, right? Rather than just a random coin somewhere on the map.
Yeah, that way, that was one thing that was a little frustrating is that you could be like, oh, I'm finally Darth Vader. Oh, the game's over.
Yeah. Or I finally got a ship and I accidentally crashed immediately because it's really hard to control.
Because I've never actually had it before and it's extremely hard to get and I'm not used to the mechanic.
So frustrating, but some good changes here. Campaign, super excited. I mean, you play as a clone trooper, or you play as a stormtrooper who sees the destruction to the Death Star and then wants to get revenge. So what a different angle for Star Wars. Very cool. I think that's promising so far. So I'm excited. I thought for sure after Battlefront 1, when I heard about Battlefront 2, I thought there's no way I'm going to get in on this. Battlefront 1 didn't do it for me, and now EA's changed my mind, and I think I probably will. You know, I'm already talking to people about, hey, let's get Battlefront 2. So clearly they're doing something right there.
It definitely looked good. It definitely looked fun.
Yeah, agreed. All right, and then the last big thing from EA, probably their biggest, again, their mic drop moment, right? If Ubisoft had Beyond Good and Evil, EA had Anthem. Kind of a showstopper, one of the big things garnering a lot of attention from E3. Anthem, a big showcase for Xbox One X, so a perfect transition for us into Microsoft. There's a connection here, right? They showed it on Microsoft stage, showed it on EA's own stage, so getting a little bit of both, more actually shown on Microsoft stage than EA's, because there's definite partnership there. Not an exclusive, right? But looking really cool, pushing, hey, this is what Xbox One X can do, 4K. I mean, stunning looking game. When they're going through the jungle
great,
environments, very cool. I thought for Anthem, just really cool. The idea of the exosuits gives you that Iron Man flying around feel. Great timing for BioWare, right? I mean, you've heard the negativity around Mass Effect, Andromeda, and how people are like, oh man, BioWare this and this. And then, hey, here's main BioWare, the studio that made your old Mass Effect games that everyone loves, and look what they're doing now, right? So it's kind of, I think, bringing people back real quick because it's exciting. One thing that I thought was really cool was it's a Destiny-like game, clearly. Go around with friends, collect loot, take on bigger and stronger things, a lot to do. And in town, they showed you how your character went and chose, hey, I'm going to take this particular suit out, where there's maybe a heavy one, there's a one in between, and there's more your stealthy, small, skinny, that could take damage easily one, right? So you're not locked into, say, the Atlas huge character.
Yeah, you get to kind of choose your own
Upgrade
adventure.
everything. What do you want to take out today? What does your group need? Does your group need a tank, or does your group need damage? And that's awesome.
It gives you a way to, online player, you can kind of stack your team in a way that's...
Keep it varied. Yeah. And upgrading all those things at the same time just adds more depth. Right? How much
and if
more
you like
time?
playing more, the stealthier, if you like playing more the tankier, it gives an option for every person to play.
How much more time can you spend on a character if you can upgrade all those? So great idea for that. Cool. I mean,
it
about
looks
time,
amazing.
Almost,
It looks amazing.
What else do we think about Anthem?
So definitely the 4K graphics stood out the most, but it's a new title. Like we're always seeing all these, Battlefront 2, Far Cry 5, sequel. Yes,
Yeah.
Just like in movies, video games, they're sticking to safe bets. But this is a new title, and it definitely looks amazing. The online hype for this was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, for as much as I'll say EA Sports not into it kind of bored, this is what E3 is all about. I mean, right? The showing of a new IP like this that's got people excited, the promise of what could happen. They showed gameplay. It's not just a cinematic trailer. This was one of the strongest announcements from E3. I think there's no doubt about it. I mean, this was the highlight of EA's show. It's one of the highlights of Microsoft's show at the same time. So
I feel like there were a few announcements, and this was one of the... a few announcements that just stood out above the rest, and this was one of the few.
It's in that elite group.
Yeah, it's in that elite group.
Definitely a game. They showed off a lot of depth, and a game that I could definitely spend a lot of hours.
Yeah.
A lot of hours into easily.
Absolutely.
Getting bored.
Yeah. So that's very exciting. More about that one. Next, then, let's use that time to transition into Microsoft. The last conference we're going to look at today, this was an example of a game running in 4K on Xbox One X. The other partnership we already saw was Assassin's Creed Origins. All right, so two games that look great running on Xbox One X. Microsoft came out on stage before anything else. We're going to talk Xbox One X. They announced the name, right? Because before this we were going by Xbox Scorpio. What do we think of the name? Let's start there.
Very confusing. I feel like this might trip some people up that aren't as, glued to the news and stuff like that, the gaming news. I feel like a lot of people going into the holidays are going to, go walk into a store and say, I want the new Xbox.
Want the Xbox One S or the Xbox One X?
Or do you just want the Xbox One? I mean,
Yeah.
technically they all play the same games.
Yeah.
Just certain, you just get more graphics and faster
Processing.
Yeah. I mean, but this is another case of Xbox just, it's like with the 360.
Yeah.
Where'd they get the 360 name from? And now they've got the One X. It's not their 10th console, so X doesn't mean 10.
Yeah.
They're just, I don't know.
I don't get it. I think it's one of those things where the X is like powerful, and this is the most powerful console ever made. They love to say that line, right? Okay. To me, it's very Wii U, which was a terrible name.
Exactly.
And
You
this is
think
Xbox
they
One
would have
S.
learned from what happened with Wii and Wii U? It just you need to make it different. So somebody can walk in and, a parent or somebody can walk in and say, my child said they want this. And then it's very obvious which one you're talking about, and you don't have to try to explain that to somebody who isn't. There are people that are plugged into the gaming world that will have no problem at all deciding which one to get.
Yeah.
But it does muddy the water to add another similar letter in there. Xbox One. It's just.
I think it's one of those things where Microsoft will argue, and they believe that the Xbox One X is for the hardcore gamer, and the Xbox One
starting
S
at $500.
The Xbox One S is for your normal gamer, and the Xbox One original model is kind of being pushed out the door. It's really, they're going more towards those two models. But yeah, you've got $499 for the Xbox One X. It's expensive for a console.
Definitely.
Where the Xbox One S, during E3 has been on sale for $249. So double the price is a lot to ask. Now there are benefits; it's much more powerful, but with the games being, Anthem is going to come to Xbox One X and look beautiful, but it's also going to come to Xbox One. Right? Still play it on your Xbox One or your Xbox One S. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's a tough sell to upgrade. Right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it's for the upgrader. I think it's for
especially if you're not getting anything different other than graphics. Because I already find that when I'm playing these games, they look great to me.
Yeah.
They're still they look great. Every new game that comes out looks better than the last.
You're not wishing for wow if this only looks better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't find myself being caught up in that.
It's obviously going to be in its own echelon, but it's for those hardcore gamers. So I feel like they're pricing themselves out though. $500, $499 technically, but $500.
Yeah.
And that's a huge price point.
I think, yeah, it's expensive, and I think the argument is this is the most powerful console ever made. The hardcore gamers will want it. I think that's true. I think you'll see the first month it'll have good sales, and then I think it's going to struggle a little bit. I don't think you're going to see 25% of Xbox One sold or Xbox One X. I don't think that's going to happen. And quite frankly, the hardcore gamer who is graphics pushed, if that's the most important thing to them, they're still not going to be playing on this. They should be playing on a PC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Precisely.
If you want the best performance, it's still not going to be on a console. I'm sorry.
Precisely.
I know people want that, but it's just not what it is. And I think a lot of people went into this hoping that Xbox was going to say, this is $399, $400, super competitive price, and kind of strike back at Sony and really get back in this battle that everyone likes to imagine is happening between the companies. But $500 doesn't do that. Now the PS4 Pro is cheaper and the PS4 is cheaper, and I think that they're going to continue to win the generation. I don't think this is the changing point for Microsoft. I just don't. Now,
it makes me. I'm always leery when they don't come out with a new console. They just come out with a better version of a console. I'm always very leery of the decision behind that.
It's a new thing, right? We've seen it in the handheld market a lot before, with Nintendo loves to do DS, DSi, 3DS, new 3DS.
But those price points they're affordable to people that are hardcore Nintendo gamers.
And to me,
you're not talking $500.
To me, after I've had a 3DS for a couple of years, it's beat up, and I'm cool with upgrading because it's my controller.
Again, it's getting beat up. You're dropping it. But the Xbox One stays on the shelf, gets a little dusty, but that's basically it.
So what is it how do you sell consoles? What sells consoles?
Well,
exclusives.
Exclusive games. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Exactly. I thought we would agree. And I gotta be honest. I've been playing a lot of games recently, and they've been all on my Nintendo consoles or my PS4. Xbox has kind of been collecting dust for a little while, and they just haven't had those alluring exclusives to pull me in. And I don't think E3 really changed that.
I mostly use my Xbox One S at this point as a Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
Just
well, that way,
being honest.
If you were to turn this, like if somebody walks into a store and say, "Hey, I want one of the new Xbox ones," do you want the X? If you were to take a flow chart and put it up on the wall and say, "Okay, how much is if you take it down to, can I play different games?" Well, no. What am I really getting out of it? Better graphics.
If you have a 4K TV.
Precisely.
Exactly.
That is a huge selling point as well.
There's a lot of hitches. Yeah. There are a lot of hitches to it. So if you were to take somebody through the prompts on which one I feel like more often than not, they're going to want the Xbox One S.
Now I have to say, when people are going and doing their big purchases, maybe Christmas time this year, and they're deciding, hey, let's upgrade to a 4K TV, and then they think, how do we take advantage of this? Microsoft has positioned themselves to be
definitely.
If you want to take advantage of your new TV,
definitely.
Get this Xbox One X. This is how to really show what your TV can do. Okay. But still kind of a weird place. Now let's look at some of the games. They started out the Xbox One X with the Forza 7 footage. Stunning game. Racing games have always been, I think, throughout the years, when a new console comes out, what's one of the best ways to show how powerful it is? A racing game.
Definitely.
It looks beautiful, but not for me.
The cars still don't look as good as that Mario Mercedes.
Yeah, in one way or another, right? For me, though, I mean, it's just not. That's not going to get me to go buy a console. If again, Forza 7, I can play on my Xbox One, and I'm just not as big on the racing game, so it's not quite the trigger pull for me. Some people, it's exciting, and I know Forza. I mean, incredibly high quality game. Arguably, they've really kind of taken over from Gran Turismo as becoming the best.
Yeah,
The premier
I would say
racing.
it's the cleanest, most crisp looking racing game
I played
ever.
a little bit of the last one, and it is fun to play.
Yeah.
I mean, if you spend a good, it's not something that I would pick up on my own, but I had an opportunity where I could play it. It was fun.
Yeah, big franchise for Xbox now. Just I kind of before E3, I predicted and thought they're going to start off with Forza, but at the same time I was like they shouldn't, because they should start with something more exciting. But they did. It's understandable. The other big Xbox exclusive, they kept talking about exclusive Xbox launch exclusive, which means not exclusive, just exclusive for a couple months, right?
Gotta read that.
Yeah.
Fine
So
print.
one of their other true exclusives is Crackdown 3. What did you guys think of Crackdown 3? We saw Terry Crews come out promoting it.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Terry Crews was exciting, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that that's what I was missing in a game was Terry Crews, And then you see it and you're like, well, this is
He
exactly
did a good
what I've
job
always
promoting it.
wanted.
Interesting story. I hear that he actually approached them and said he wanted to, and it was the way the whole thing went was interesting.
Hey, he's a hardcore gamer though.
He is. He's big. Yeah.
I think it was just a couple months ago he was talking about his custom built PC, and he's into it. I'm actually really shocked.
That's the other thing. I need to come back to PC in just a second, but for me, Crackdown 3 looks awesome. So fun. Very Sunset Overdrive style of just move around and blow things up and create craziness. I love Crackdown. You play as these futuristic police and, it's over the top cool. Crackdown 3 is all about you can take down whole buildings with your explosives and things like that. Really cool things, but when you watch the gameplay, it is not a stunner visually.
No.
Because it's so focused on gameplay and being smooth. It's cel-shaded and it's not that impressive. I mean, so for it to be one of the two big Xbox One X exclusives,
It was interesting because you're watching Terry Crews in the beginning and you're like, man.
this is getting hyped, yeah.
Yeah, this looks a lot like Terry Crews,
Wow.
And then you see the gameplay and you're like, oh, this is a bit different when you're actually playing the game.
Yeah, so I don't want to take away from Crackdown. I'm excited about Crackdown. I'll play Crackdown this year. I know I will, but not an Xbox One X like, wow, look what can do kind of game for me. It's just not showing it there. So maybe a little bit of a downside on that. Now, I'm glad you brought the PC because that's one thing we left out. That's the other problem for Microsoft right now is all of their exclusives, Forza, Crackdown, Gears of War, it doesn't matter what it is, they're all exclusive to Microsoft Xbox One console, but they're also playable on Windows 10 PC. So I think that's another problem for Microsoft is they don't really have any true exclusives anymore because all their games can be played on a PC as well.
That's true.
And so it's still it's just a weird situation.
And if you're one of those keyboard and mouse guys, cough.
Yeah.
You might go for the PC.
It's still, if you have the right rig, it's still going to run better.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting. Two other games, smaller indie games. Microsoft did one of the best jobs of showing off some indie games compared to anyone really this year at E3. Cuphead has been shown for a long time, finally getting a release date. Awesome. Very excited. That one's been around almost too long. Some of the excitement, I think, has died off because people have seen it for so long. But I can't wait. So I'm excited about that from Microsoft. They showed off The Artful Escape of a really fancy name. This game where he is platforming using his guitar. It's from an Australian developer. What did you guys think of this one? It's definitely artful. I mean, it looks cool.
Yes, and I'm a huge platformer fan.
Yeah.
So I immediately knew I was going to be interested. And I sort of got a cyberpunk, tripping vibe watching the trailer. It's
I think the developer said that they were inspired by David Bowie and stuff.
There you go. Yeah. So
I think it reminded you a lot of Trine and me a lot of Kubo and the Two Strings.
Precisely.
The instrument magic and stuff. Cool, yeah.
And even the way it looks. But it looks good.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's one to keep an eye on. For me, the highlight of Microsoft's E3 this year, Ori and the Blind Forest 2. I loved the first one. Hardcore platformer, challenging, Metroidvania style, unlock as you go. So glad they're making a sequel. I mean, that's going to be awesome. No release date, no release window that I believe. It's just, hey, it's happening. So probably next year at best. But that's the highlight of the conference for me. Very excited about that. Do we have...
Microsoft did have a lot of artfully unique games that, you don't necessarily see that much of anymore.
The problem with those, Cuphead exclusive, Ori exclusive, Artful Escape, launch exclusive, right? And then a lot of those other indie games launch exclusive. So, hey, they're going to come to Xbox first, but they're going to be on PlayStation. They're going to be everywhere else. So takes a little bit of the excitement, I think, or the push from Microsoft away, unfortunately.
But those are also games where you don't need the Xbox One X and its rig to enjoy.
Yeah.
So I mean, that'll be good for the games. They'll get to a wider audience because obviously, even if you want to play 4K gaming, you're not necessarily getting the One X or Xbox One for that matter. So.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. The amount of spending that has to go into develop one of these 4K games that's just pristine in those ways, it's so expensive. That's not going to be every game. It can't, right? So I think
it's not going to be worth it to be every game until more people have bought into the 4K.
Yeah, so we're still getting there, but there are some exciting things. I thought the highlights for 4K this year had to have been, like we said, Assassin's Creed,
definitely
Anthem, absolutely, and then I mean Forza is beautiful. So those are the ones that are really showing off the power. So I think an okay year for Microsoft. There's some excitement about the Xbox One X, but I think some people are kind of bummed out after it. We'll see how it does. You know?
And I think you brought this up earlier, but they should have stuck with the name Scorpio.
I liked it.
You know,
Scorpio was an amazing name.
It had so much mind
stood out. Yeah,
people knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've never seen a code name be referred to so commonly by the executives of Microsoft. They just said Scorpio all the time, and people knew it.
Yes.
So I don't know. Yeah, I liked that name better, but it is what it is. It's the Xbox One X from now on. We'll see if we can remember to say that. Okay, and moving on to what we've been playing recently. James, do you want to start out? What games have you been checking out?
So there's 2 games I've been playing the last few weeks. So as hopefully everybody knows, the Necromancer DLC got released by Blizzard for Diablo 3.
Woo.
So, but before, that just got released this past Tuesday. But leading up to that, I was playing Heroes of the Storm because there was like a cross-promotion going on where you can get some cosmetic items.
In Diablo?
Yeah, in Diablo and in Heroes of the Storm, technically. You had to play, a certain amount of games. Unfortunately, it's passed, so if you missed it, you missed out on the cosmetic items. But it's just cosmetic items, so...
They've done similar things in Overwatch.
Definitely, yes.
You get skins. I didn't know about Diablo, but I've heard about it with Overwatch.
Yeah. So it's a similar concept. You had to play 15 games. And so I was playing Heroes of the Storm. Literally just a 15-game requirement.
Yeah.
Against bots with some of my Diablo friends.
It's quite a bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, we were playing, what do you call it? Medium difficulty bots. So it wasn't hard or anything. We were just knocking them out real quick. And...
Shining endorsement of Heroes of the Storm.
I mean, Heroes of the Storm is, a MOBA, but League of Legends, not League of Legends, League of Legends and Dota 2 are just miles ahead, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I love Heroes of the Storm's characters. I'm heavily invested with the Blizzard characters.
Sure.
But just doesn't have the same... you don't have items. Where are the items? No, precisely. It's much more casual. So, yeah, you won't hear me give it a ringing endorsement. But, it was definitely something different because I haven't played it since it got released, when did it got released? Probably 2 years ago now?
Probably.
It's been out for a while now, right? Yeah, so...
Back when I played League, it was out, so...
Yeah, so it's been a minute since I played it. It was a nice change of pace, but at the same time, played my 15 games, moved on. So now I got those cool new wings for Diablo and my Necromancer. So let's talk about that because I spent all week playing the Necromancer. It's definitely cool. A few details about it, just so everybody knows. It's $14.99, which I feel like was a compromise between the player base and Blizzard. I know everybody would have loved for it to have been free, but let's be realistic, that wasn't going to happen.
And plus, just like Diablo traditional, it comes with this brand new exciting act of all these new things to do.
Nope. You knew that though, didn't you?
I did. I'm just still upset about it.
Yes. That definitely caught everybody off guard too, but then again, they advertised it as the Necromancer DLC. They didn't advertise it as an expansion. So it's not like they were trying to trick everybody, but at the same time, you're right. There's just not that wealth of content that got released with it. So... But, they priced it at $14.99, which was in between what the majority of the players wanted, $9.99, and also the majority of what players thought it was going to be, which was, in the $20 range.
Doesn't seem too bad.
No, yeah, $15, what is that? That's skip 2 lunches, or,
Maybe don't, but...
Yeah.
Just cut back on a couple lunches, instead of, $7.50 a lunch, which is how much I averaged $7.50 a lunch. So that was literally, I'll skip 2. I rationalized it by, that's 2 lunches. No big deal.
This is a very interesting opinion.
No. All right.
doing a little bit of finances here.
Just tell me a little more about your lunch, James.
No, but so as we all know, Diablo 3 was originally released with the Witch Doctor.
Yeah, very similar in a lot of ways.
Witch Doctor is very similar, in my opinion, to Necromancer. Don't tell that to the hardcore Necromancer fans from Diablo 2 because they will eat you alive.
Witch Doctor's best character of Diablo 3.
Yes, we know you loved your Witch Doctor. But no, I'm enjoying the Necromancer a lot. But at the same time, I am one of those people who see the similarities to the Witch Doctor and wish they had gone with the Druid. Because the Druid would have been something completely different. You know, shape-shifting, and elemental. You know, I feel like Druid would have been a completely different direction. Having said that, though, the Necromancer, everybody's playing the Necromancer right now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, everybody's playing the same build on the Necromancer, which is always bad.
That's been a kind of a thing with Diablo 3.
Definitely.
Yeah, whatever build works, everybody jumps on.
Yeah, people find the quote-unquote OP build, and everybody just hops on, tries to get as high of a GR ranking they can. So Necromancer, it's fresh, it's new, and it's fun.
So on a scale from 1 to 10, $14.99, is it worth it?
Scale of 1 to 10, 8. You know,
Okay.
you're not going to buy it and be like, oh, this is so amazing. But you're going to buy it and you will enjoy it. If you enjoy action RPGs, you'll enjoy it.
Unless you're one of those Necromancer people. I mean, Diablo 3, great game, very solid.
Yes.
Anything that can get me into playing through Diablo one more time. That's a game that I like to put a lot of hours into.
Okay. What about you, Cam? What have you been getting into?
Playing a lot of Puyo Puyo Tetris, actually. That is a really fun game. I like the, is it the swap?
Yeah, we switch between the two games.
Yeah, where you switch between the two games, and it's very stressful, and I can really only play it for short bursts because I'm like sweating on the couch.
Yeah.
Just trying to, but it's fun. It's just a fun, easy game to get into. And I've also been playing a lot of Mario Kart.
Okay.
Of course, I like to play it with the turn assist.
Yeah.
Say what you want. It's nice to be able to just blow through those mushrooms and not even have to worry about steering. So it gives you
take the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. That's nice. It's definitely. I just like it. If I wanted to really get down and dirty and really wanted to fight through the drifts and stuff like that, I would take it off. But I do enjoy playing it on.
So playing Puyo Puyo Tetris also on the Switch.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great on that console. I mean, it's definitely one of those games where it actually feels good if if you're out in public, you could.
I didn't know what Puyo Puyo was before.
Before this game.
Yeah.
And now you're like the Puyo Puyo master. I've seen it. Yeah, strong there. I can keep up in Tetris, not Puyo Puyo. But it's great for the Switch, I think. A nice fit there. It's actually one of those games where it feels good to prop it up and then take one Joy-Con, flip it over, and it works great like that. So good for that situation.
That's 4-player.
Yeah.
You can get up to 4-player, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool. And then if you really get into it, you can compete online and stuff. But people there, it can be overwhelming.
Yes.
I got some work to do there. Need to work on the lessons, which also come with the game. And then Mario Kart, I think it's great. I mean, I remember back on Wii U trying to get you to play Mario Kart, and it didn't really stick with you because the drifting and stuff is a little more advanced.
Yeah, it is, and it's not. I liked Mario Kart on the Wii a lot.
Yeah,
I was a really big fan of that. And then once it kind of introduced the drifting, it's not something that I was very good at, and I didn't spend enough time on it, and it was a little overwhelming. But now you and I can play together again. Me with the turn assist on.
Yeah, it felt even faster in Wii U. So yeah, it was kind of I you were not the only person I played with who struggled with that.
Yeah, and and now I'm better at it now, and it does teach me how to drift in a way that I don't think I could have learned because it's just so frustrating. Yeah. When you're just coming in 12th every.
It only helps you if you need it. So eventually, if you're trying, you will learn.
I'm not gonna lie, that light is on 80% of the race, but whatever.
Right. And I like it. I think it's a great addition. It makes it more family friendly. Whether it's someone who's not as experienced with Mario Kart or it's a kid.
Yeah, it makes it so different levels, different skill sets can play together, and you just maybe stay in the back and wait for the bullet bill at the end.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw it announced, I was like, man. And I heard that you could use it online. I was like, this is gonna be annoying, but it's one of those things where it's designed well enough that. If you're using it, it's helping you stay on the track, but it still slows you down. It
hinders a good player. Yeah. It really does.
Yeah. So, it's a great addition.
It's really, not like it's a shortcut that immediately gives you a competitive edge. You still have to know what you're doing.
And it's a good teaching tool.
Yes.
Very cool. Well designed. Great. For me, I've been playing several different things recently. The summertime, I've got my time off and I get to play plenty of games. Always exciting for me. Look forward to how much I can indulge in the summer because the rest of the year, not nearly as much. Maybe one game at a time. Here I get to I got several things going on at once. So for me,
you truly be who you truly are.
Yeah, dive in. It's awesome. So 4 games I want to mention today, and I won't spend a ton of time on all of them. But about a week or so ago, I just got to go back, and then I finally completed Ratchet and Clank on the PS4. I had been playing it and really enjoying it before, and then March rolled around and Breath of the Wild came out, and I had no time for anything else. So I put it down, even though I was enjoying it. Here I came back to it. Beautiful game. One of my favorite games visually of this generation. I mean, the closest I've ever felt to playing a Pixar movie in action. Just the animation's so clean, looks great, smooth, made by a developer that I love in Insomniac, right? They made Sunset Overdrive, still my favorite Xbox One game. They're making the new Spider-Man, which looks awesome. They made this very wacky. Your guns, you can turn enemies into sheep. You can use a pixelizer and blow them into little 16-bit things, and it's just very fun. Boss battles are awesome. Control's great. So I had a great time with that. Some challenge in some of the levels in the boss battles too. Some things I've died and had to retry. So I really enjoyed that classic kind of action platformer that we don't get much of anymore. So I hope that continues and comes back. It's the kind of game that I think give me 2 years and I'll want to play it again. So that's always a good sign. Not too long to beat, but a good adventure there. Then once I beat that on my PS4, I switched immediately over to Persona 5. Hard choice for me on what to go with the PlayStation. PlayStation's had a strong early year. I've also got Horizon Zero Dawn, which I haven't opened yet. Feel kind of bad. But Persona 5 I was excited about. I've heard so much about Persona and how in-depth it is, and as a JRPG, people talk about how Persona 4 is one of the best JRPGs ever, right? It goes back to where most people talk about Super Nintendo games. And then to hear a new contender is exciting. I love that.
Whenever
genre.
you hear a new entry in the JRPG that's got all this buzz up there with the early Super
classics,
Nintendo, it's always exciting. And I'm devastated that it was a PlayStation exclusive because I don't have the PS4 and I don't get to play it.
I have to say, Persona 5 is one of those games, incredibly addicting. I just got to go.
It's also a beautiful game to watch.
Yeah.
I know that I haven't played any. I've just watched you play it for the 50 hours that you've put into it.
But about 50, yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to watch at any point. It's absolutely. I enjoy animes, and the cutscenes are straight out of an anime.
Yeah, they're great. Very well done. The voice acting is awesome.
The story is.
I'm hooked.
It's crazy.
I need to know what happens.
Yeah.
And it's very mysterious. This game, like nothing else I can really even compare it to, oozes style just in everything. It's so over the top. It's so unafraid to be Japanese in the best way possible.
Yeah, it's very smooth.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very.
The core concept of the game is you're this thief who steals people's hearts to give them a change of heart so they stop doing these terrible things in real life, and you enter the world of their imagination, of their desires. Awesome. Very cool. It's so in depth. Almost stressful in between days because you have limited time and you have to make these social connections with people in the game to get benefits, and you also got to raise your charm and your strength and all these things, and you don't have enough time to do it all, and you're like, how do I manage my time? But it makes it so addicting. Like I've had trouble when I go to bed at night being like, well, what if I did this? And I sit there thinking about Persona when I need to go to sleep. So very addictive game. I love it. I can't wait to continue and play more. Really, I can't disagree. This is an elite class of JRPG. I think it sets a new bar for what can be done with that. So awesome to see that in the modern day.
I'm jelly.
Yeah. I'm saying, man.
Yeah, it's a good game to watch.
It's worth checking out.
I don't play as many video games as you do, very clearly, but I do watch the majority of the games that you play. Because it is, in some ways, the only way that we get to spend time together. So I do end up watching a lot, and this is a game, and that is a very, just like Ratchet and Clank 2 that you just finished, it's beautiful to watch. Yeah. It's like watching a show.
It's authentic. The subways, everything looks exactly like Japan actually does, which is really cool. Something to really dive into and enjoy. I couldn't recommend it higher. Great game so far. Also, on my 3DS, for a little while after the Switch came out, I was like, I don't want to go back to my 3DS. I'm so excited about this new Nintendo console that is also portable and it's so much better. And I was a little bit kind of torn on it, but I am a huge Fire Emblem fan. One of my favorite series, and Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadow of Valencia, that whole mouthful, just came out on 3DS recently, and I had to go back. And I'll say, it made me realize, and E3 made me realize, how silly it is to want to move on from the 3DS. I love that console. It's one of my favorite ever. I mean, the library of games is so solid, and now, I mean, hints for next week, we've got Metroid coming. Of course, I'm picking up this console still.
No, yeah.
But
they're gonna keep supporting the DS, so don't go away.
yeah, I know a lot of us want to move on to the Switch, but hey, if it's quality games on 3DS still,
to be
why
honest,
not?
outside of us traveling to Japan and you being in the middle of Breath of the Wild when we did that, I haven't seen you play a lot of your Switch or of the Switch portably.
Portably, yes. Yeah, I do play more at home, actually.
Yeah, you play, you dock it more than I've seen you, even when we're going up to bed, you usually bring your 3D. I don't see you do that with the Switch a lot.
Partially, that's Fire Emblem's fault, too. I think that I'll play the Switch a little bit more portably, but that is weird, because I think the coolest thing about the Switch is its portability, but then I'm also like, it's kind of my baby, my new toy right now, so I'm like scared to bring it out.
Yeah, you don't want to take it too far.
Yeah, where the 3DS, I'm like, oh, it's tried and true,
Yeah.
But anyways, Fire Emblem, very cool. This is actually, if you're not aware, going back to what was Fire Emblem 2 in Japan, not released here. A remake of that, updated fully. It's very cool, different for a Fire Emblem. So you get, some people have complained about the newer changes to Fire Emblem and how it's, kind of all about these relationships and stuff, and people complain about that, kind of how Persona is, and that side to it, where this traditional one is different. It's more focused on this epic story, and there's no triangle of weaknesses where, swords are good against axes. It's just everything is equal. They either have high armor or they don't, right? And you fight in that way. Mages take damage when they cast spells to their health, rather than just being able to cast spells whenever they want. So a different kind of strategy. I think it upped the strategy in some ways. Very strategic. I mean, I love Fire Emblem because it feels like I'm playing virtual chess. It makes me think of like when I watch Star Wars and they're playing the chess with Chewbacca and, you better let him win. It's like, that's what it's like.
Let the Wookiee win.
Yeah, I love that. So I love the strategy of it. And this one is great. I mean, the story is compelling. You can control two different armies at once who have similar but different goals, and you're going through in different units in each one that you grow to love and care about. And then things finally intersect, and it's this whole epic story. I don't want to spoil anything, but, of a battle against gods and, fighting against them. What's the next thing going to be? It's not one of those happy ending stories of everything's great now, we won. Even in the end, it's, well, this war has been devastating, and what happens now? And it's cool. A really cool take on it. And
Do they still have the lineage element where, two characters get together and have offspring?
It does not. Yes,
I love that aspect from the...
I do like that a lot.
Entry.
I like that as well. Awakening and both Fates had that.
That's
yes. That's something that some people, believe it or not, I don't know if you follow Fire Emblem closely, a lot of their hardcore traditional fans hate it and complain about it. So they're excited that this one wouldn't. It's a split. It's a divide in the fan base. I love it. Fire Emblem Awakening is my favorite Fire Emblem game.
I loved, trying to combine different characters and get different...
Yeah, I didn't look at it. Some people get on it, and I understand they get on it as like, oh, it's creepy waifu simulator, and falling in love with characters. But to me, it's not that.
I never even thought about that.
I'm not a character in the game. I just like making these different.
Precisely.
Suddenly I put Crom with this other person in the game, and I care about them, and I want them to fight next to each other. And if one of them died, I have to shut my game off and start over because they're in a relationship. I mean, there's serious things, life going on here. So I do like that. And even in this game where you didn't have that as much, I found myself kind of like thinking about it that way on my own anyways. It does make you care about the characters. You get dialogue. Yeah. But it's not, oh, they're progressing. They do actually progress, and you can have a rank level, but they never have children or anything like that.
Gotcha.
So different, more traditional, but great. I mean, I still loved it. This is an awesome Fire Emblem game. It took me about 43 hours to get through it, and I was very into it. I mean, towards the end last night, it was one of those, I should go to bed, but I'm close. and then it just kept taking a little bit longer, but I had to see it through. Really well done. And then the last game that I want to talk about, I've been playing a lot recently, is going back to my Switch, is ARMS. And I think maybe that's the reason I haven't been playing portably, because, I don't know, ARMS doesn't scream play portably to me. I want to play that on a TV.
Yeah, unless I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah, I mean, you could play, there's a cool kind of campaign mode to go through the tournament.
Do you enjoy playing ARMS with the motion control, or do you like playing it with the Pro Controller?
I think both are very legitimate ways to play. When I first tried out the Global Test Punch, as they called it, I was all about the motion. I was like, wow, this works way better than I thought. This is cool. And then one day I kind of lost like 4 matches in a row, and I was like, I'm going to try out the Pro Controller, and I got hooked pretty quick. So I've been playing Pro Controller now. The game oozes character. And it kind of makes me think of Overwatch, right? The way they've got these characters that's why you want to play. You want to play as these different characters that are designed and have their own personalities and all these cool things. So I find that
something for everyone type of, depending
compelling
on how
about it. Diverse cast, it's not your just standard video game protagonist. It's cool. It mixes up. The concept is really well done in ARMS. When I first saw it at the Switch reveal, I thought, that's their gimmicky motion game. And then I heard...
Well, I feel like now that I've watched you play it with the Pro Controller, it's something that I want to start playing with because anything that involves motion control, I'm so guilty of the over movement.
Yeah.
You
just be throwing flurries.
Yeah.
Haymaker.
Just way too much, like an actual real punch, and I just, I become tuckered out, and I don't think that's how you're supposed to play. I mean, I know it's not how you're supposed to play it. I've seen other people play using motion control, and they barely move at all.
Yeah.
And I have way too much over.
We saw the people at E3 playing with motion, and they were incredibly competitive, very good. I wouldn't stand a chance. So motion is not a disadvantage. You just have to learn it.
Learn how to not actually move a lot.
What is wrist flicking? If anything.
You gotta be optimal in your movements. Efficient.
But for me, I mean, surprised with the depth and the fun of ARMS. It's charming. It's fun. I will say I like the one-on-one fighting. I like maybe your free-for-all 3 people. And I like the basketball where you get to dunk your opponent.
Where you get to completely disrespect.
Yeah, I liked playing that with my brother and stuff like that. Felt like this is cool. It is kind of, you just dunked them through a hoop. I'm not as big of a fan of the headlock mode that it does online. If you go into the party lobbies, it mixes you. You don't choose. It just throws you all around. And it's cool. It keeps things fresh. Where there's also the option, if you just want to fight one-on-one, you can play ranked. And that's cool as well. But I'm not as big of a fan of the headlock mode because it just feels like, I don't know, and you're just kind of throwing punches and hoping for the best. It's a race against the clock more than it is, dodge and stuff like that. And then the volleyball, I don't like as much either because it just kind of feels like luck. Like a lot of times if people know what they're doing, you just hit it back and forth until the timer runs out and it drops on whoever's side it's
there's been several games that ended 1-0 because it just blows up at the end no matter what.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, at the end it does, and then eventually it gets hit too much and just decides it's going to fall. It pops, right? So you get some points on each side. So a lot of times it might be like 2-1 at the end, and it's not based on... I don't like that one as much. I get it. But the other mode's really fun. I enjoy my time with it. My favorite is just to fight one-on-one. It can be frustrating if you lose a bunch in a row, but it's fun.
I'm not a fan of the multiplayer game lobby, though, because, like, you and I, we're playing in the same living room, but we're not playing together because you keep getting matched in 2v2s with some other guy.
Yeah.
And then I keep getting matched in 2v2s with some other guy.
Only occasionally will it put us together.
I know. I think
the couch co-op isn't actually
couch co-op. No. That's a little annoying. But
they have added in an update a new lobby mode where you can control that more, where you can just get 4 people in a lobby and decide what you want to do.
Okay.
But I agree. I mean, it's not the best to go online with a friend. I mean, it is if we're just hanging out. Like, it's fine. Like, you'll fight a one-on-one, then I'll be thrown in a headlock match, then you'll be thrown in volleyball.
Yeah, but it's not you actually get to play a lot with the person that you're...
The only time I feel cheated is when, like, there are times literally where it'll put me in a 2v2, and you won't be my teammate. You'll be grayed out, and it'll put me as a teammate with someone else who's also playing with 2 people. And I'm like, why couldn't we just fought them 2-on-2? And I think I get they're trying to keep it balanced and fair where, everyone gets a chance to play everything in a lobby, and it's not, hey, you have 2 people, so you always get to be on a team.
Yeah.
Because that could be not fun for other people, but it seems like it should favor it a little more.
I feel like if you're signing up to play with that person...
Well, it's the party mode, it's not the competitive mode. So feelings get hurt in party mode, that's your own fault. Right? But enjoyable game. I've had fun with ARMS. It's one of those also that has been more fun than I expected. The Global Test Punch changed my mind on it. I didn't have it pre-ordered, which a lot of times I have games I'm excited for pre-ordered it after the Global Test Punch.
I didn't realize you weren't excited for it. I was actually excited for it because it was one of the few games that really looked like it was gonna get full use out of the motion controls.
Yeah.
So I was looking forward to it.
I was more of like a cautious, but I wanted to be in, but I was like,
pleasantly surprised on that, in much of the same way that I was really pleasantly surprised for Splatoon.
Yeah.
Because at first look, it doesn't seem like it is cool until you start to play it. And
then it has that Nintendo charm. It does.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah. It's cool to see the new IPs from Nintendo. People give them a really hard time about that, but they've been doing a good job with it. I mean,
very
some major
addicting
ones.
to just be like, okay, just one more. Okay.
Yeah, when I played the Global Test Punch, I mean, that hour, I played that whole hour when I could. I wanted to keep playing. So it's very fun in that aspect. All right, well, I think that wraps up what we've been playing for this week. I hope that those of you that joined us enjoyed what we had to say. We thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, comments or concerns, please feel free to leave a comment on our YouTube. You can send us an email as well. We will see you next week, where we will continue our E3 impressions and hopefully have some other interesting topics that come up in the news as well.
We're going to try the Zelda DLC.
Yes, we'll have impressions of the Zelda DLC as well, the Trials, which I'm excited to try. Haven't gotten to it yet, but looking forward to it. I've seen it's pretty challenging. So
Definitely.
might get tossed around a little bit. That's all right. All right.